It's a sizzling Saturday afternoon in Stockton, California. Tournament Central is at Swenson Park for the OTB Open presented by MVP Disc Sports. Grant Zellner alongside Brian Earhart. Hello and welcome as we get set for moving day here from Swenson Park on this incredible track where yesterday Isaac Robinson was the only player to go bogey free, and he will lead the way. Brian, you've been there on the ground watching players warm up. You've seen some early cards go out, and some of them are going out with a lot of style. What are your expectations for today?
I expect better scoring. We saw it with the FPO division this morning. The wind is down. It's maybe 5 miles an hour. The heaviest it seems to get is about 10. So scoring conditions are fantastic, even better than they were yesterday. They were pretty good on Friday. So we're going to see a lot of players make up for the rough first rounds that they had. And I think it's going to be one of those days where you have to shoot hot or you are going to be falling down the leaderboard.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Isaac Robinson talking yesterday about trying to shake the reputation of being a woods player, doing so by carving out really brilliant lines through the trees here at this well laid out course. It is on a traditional ball golf course, but it utilizes the features of the grounds very, very well, including in particular that low ceiling, which creates an element of elevation on a course that's otherwise relatively flat. Isaac is really showing us something, and he's not even having to lean that hard on the putter, is he?
No, and he's putting great from circle 2. I mean, he made 3 of 3 yesterday, but he missed 3 circle 1 putts, and he said they were from distances that he's pretty disappointed about. So that means the 13 under par was right within his grasp. He's throwing the disc well. He's leading the tournament in strokes gained overall. I think if he just cleans up some of the little things out here, he should be great. He said yesterday it's easy for him to throw the disc right now. He can get from point A to point B no matter what. And this narrative of a woods specialist now having to prove themselves as an open golfer almost feels like a sports network narrative that they're trying to force upon him. But to hear him say that himself, that is an internal drive for him, is really interesting and kind of cool to see him evolve as an athlete as well as a disc golfer.
We heard more from Isaac yesterday after his round.
My game feels really good. I feel like I can look at a spot and I can put the disc pretty much exactly where I want it. Just feeling in the zone and feeling ready to attack these courses. I want the circle 1 putts back. I think they were all 25 and in, so even on the shorter side of circle 1. So I really wanted to make those. The drives felt good. The putting, circle 2 putting felt great. Just hitting those landing zones and trying to stay, safe and not throw out of bounds. I'm known as a woods player, and it's great to be known that way, but I also want to kind of break that and just be known as a good all-around player. So coming out here attacking these open courses, these longer courses, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Isaac is certainly ready to play, and he's going to have to bring his A game. Brian, you've mentioned earlier on, with the difficulty of the finishing holes, players need to get off to a fast start. Do you think that reigns true today?
It does. I think today is a little different. This is one of the first days of the year that we're getting up into the mid-90s in regards to temperature. And it's one of those degrees, those temperatures that you actually have to prepare for. And sometimes players can underestimate that. They come out here, they don't have enough towels, they don't have enough chalk, and they kind of screw themselves from the start. So I think today is going to be a marathon of staying hydrated, making sure you're being very intentional with your grip and how you manage that. It's interesting. It's a beautiful day out here in California, but it's still one of those days that's similar to when it's raining. You have to be prepared.
Steamy and humid for sure, and 3 players in hot pursuit of Isaac Robinson, talking about Chandler Kramer, Cole Redalen, and of course, Gannon Buhr. We will hear from Gannon Buhr after this break on the Disc Golf Network.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Joined here on the ground by PDGA's Matt Rothstein. Matt, you are the PDGA media manager, and you're here on the ground following the FPO golf all day, as well as the MPO in the afternoon. What did you see this morning?
Well, I saw a lot of great golf. I was trying to catch up with the hot rounds, and that had me running all over the course. Katrina Allen was hot at the beginning of her round and then cooled off a little bit. I followed Stacey Haas and watched her throw 6 birdies in a row. And then, of course, we saw Paige just destroying this course. Last year, I think the best round shot by a man or a woman was a 10 down. So that 12 really popped out and kind of emphatically showed that Paige was back at full force. I know everyone's thrilled to see it.
And it's great. You saw the course designer Leonard Muse go up to Paige and congratulate her for shooting so well on the design that he came up with this year, which it sounds like he's very proud of. As for you, you are the PDGA's media manager, and you're here on the ground on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. What is your role out here when you come out to California?
Well, viewers will see me interviewing players after the rounds. Everything except for the live interviews I'm going to be doing. I'm also doing social media for PDGA and just trying to plug in wherever I can to help out the DGN efforts.
And with the PDGA as a whole, we have more awesome stuff happening this week. For those that didn't tune in this morning or yesterday, what does the PDGA have going on?
Well, I told Zoe this morning, at one point not too long ago, I was the only member of the PDGA media marketing team, and now we're up to 6. And so we've got quite a bit going on in that department. From my side of things, on the media side, we've got a couple of exciting projects coming up. You were a part of our Rule School series last year, which was really successful. We're following that up this year with a TD version. So we're doing TD School, where we're going to help train up-and-coming tournament directors on everything they need to know to be successful running tournaments. We're also expanding coverage of non-pro majors, so the Masters, Juniors, AMs, those majors, including Solinsky, which is coming up here in just a couple weeks. So you can look for the PDGA YouTube page and see post-produced coverage of those events. And we've also got another series coming up called Disc Golf Destinations. We put out our first episode earlier this year in Las Vegas. We've got one coming up for Austin. So Disc Golf Destinations Austin. It's like a tourist guide that's specific to disc golfers, showing them not just the best courses to play, but the best spots to go after the rounds, to eat, to be entertained. So and we know Austin's a great town, so I'm really looking forward to that episode coming out.
Fantastic stuff. So much going on in the world of disc golf on the Disc Golf Pro Tour side and the PDGA side. I'm going to send it back to you in the booth, Grant.
Fantastic stuff, Brian. Thank you, Matt. Now to the action, which will start here in about 20 minutes from the lead card, and in hot pursuit of Isaac Robinson will be Gannon Buhr. We heard from Gannon after his round yesterday.
You really got to be here in person to really understand how the grass works here. The dry spots will skip you like 70 feet, and the thick spots that don't even look that thick, it just looks like normal grass, will not skip you 1 foot. I mean, I was like 200 feet out, my only bogey, and I threw my overstable fairway driver, so pretty sharp rim as well, and it literally just hit right where it stuck, and I missed my like 55-foot putt for par, and that was my only really bogey on the day. I missed a couple opportunities out there, but I'm thinking 30 under par is going to be a good score to win this tournament. The fans are pretty solid out here as well, and it's fun. I'm actually staying with my friend Cole in the RV in the parking lot, so kind of my first really taste of van life or RV life or whatever. So it's been really fun. We were 120 feet from hole one's tee pad, so wake up, we can do putting games all day. Those are super fun to do. It's just been such a blast with all the homies, and looking forward to a couple more days out here. It's going to get really hot, 95 degrees it's looking like, so gonna be using my chump chalk bag a lot out here. Check the wind and keep the hands dry.
Gannon Buhr announcing last week that he will stay with his sponsor at Prodigy through the 2023 season. It's good to see him put that behind him. And now he gets to pursue this championship with his friends. We know he's got a friendship going with Isaac Robinson. Also, Cole Redalen will play on the lead card. We had a chance to listen to Cole after his round yesterday as well.
I started the round as strong as I wanted to. Just a couple slip-ups and then kind of a dry spot in the middle. Wish could have had an extra couple more birdies. But yeah, I was able to capitalize towards the end. I knew what it took, what I needed to do to make the lead card tomorrow, and that was Turkey 16, 17, 18, which I did not think was possible. And just took it one shot at a time and made it pretty easy on myself and made a good putt on the last hole. So just felt like God took control of that one for me, because it just felt like today was full of so many ups and downs on the green, and those last few months have just been brutal on the green for me. And so to come out today and really show what's up to the baskets and feel a little bit more confident in the putting stroke, it definitely meant a lot to hit that last one. Yeah, I'm just super excited. Any chance I get to be up there, I'm going to have some fun and continue to compete at the level I know how to. And, whatever happens, happens, but I'm going to keep doing my best to play my best, and whatever happens, happens. So.
Brian, it's easy to understand what it would be like to compete against a rival for a championship, but in this case, we've got some close friends right there at the top duking it out. Can you talk a little bit about that dynamic on tour?
Yes, I absolutely can. This is a new class of players, so to speak, with Isaac and Cole and Gannon and Alden Harris and all these young players that know who the titans of the division are and who they need to catch. So they have to work together and feed off of each other's effort to get to that level, to beat the Ricky Wysocki's, Paul McBeth's, Eagle McMahons of the game that have dominated for so long. I remember back in the day, Paul Ulibarri was a part of a crew when he was younger called the Dinosaur Hunters, trying to chase down the players that were dominant at their time when they started. And it's just awesome to see. And there's nothing better than having touring partners that share the same level of motivation and the same dreams as you. Again, when you're out here and you're in your late teens, early 20s, the world is in front of you and it's wide open. And it's so cool to see players like Isaac and Gannon and Cole Redalen all hanging out together, excited to chase down these championships together and push the sport even farther, and it's working. You see Cole and Gannon practicing on the putting green together, playing putting games. Cole's RV is literally 150 feet away from T1. They've been able to park there all week. So it's just awesome to see such a positive environment for these young competitors, and obviously their performance is showcasing all the hard work they've put in.
And we certainly can't forget about Chandler Kramer, also there in the top, tied with that three-way tie in second place. Chandler Kramer bringing a slightly different style to the course, leaning on that forehand, which, as you mentioned yesterday, there are some holes on this course that seem to set up very, very nicely for his style of play.
Absolutely. And I will have to say, there's no way Leonard Muse would ever create a course where counterclockwise spin was the only spin that worked for you on this course. So Chandler's going to have some difficulties out here. But I will say, like you said, having that incredibly powerful and technical sidearm like Chandler does have, it's going to suit him well on quite a few holes on this course. Obviously, he's going to have to work a little bit harder on hole number 1. He's not going to get to throw that big 500-foot backhand out to the right side. And there's a few holes like that where that sidearm is pinched off and he has to work a little bit harder. But we watched him at the European Open last year manufacture some of the most incredible forced forehand lines that I've ever seen. He plays bold, he plays aggressive. He's only been playing disc golf for a little bit of time, but clearly his confidence is sky high. So it's exciting to see him back here on the lead card as well.
Well, everybody we've been discussing will go off together and be able to look their nemesis right in the eye. But somebody we haven't mentioned yet, last year's defending champion, Simon Lizotte, who will be pursuing from deep in the field. He's got some work to do. We're going to check in with Simon right after this break on the Disc Golf Network.
Practice is the difference between good and great. Distractions are obstacles. Eliminate them and see how far you can go.
drama all the way to the final hole. Kristen to win the Waco Annual Charity Open. She's done it! Kristen to tar.
My name is Garrett Girthy, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
I love the fact that it's resealable. I can just get a little bit, keep my energy levels up, but not eat like a half of a meal in the middle of my round.
My favorite bag is the smashed cracked pepper. That's my perfect salty snack.
This is my go-to, the Sexton Sweet and Spicy. If this bag gets open, there's no need for the seal, because I'm gonna eat it all.
We're moments away from the beginning of round 2 MPO coverage right here on the Disc Golf Network. You're with Tournament Central at the OTB Open presented by MVP Disc Sports. Grant Zellner along with Brian Earhart, and we promised you a chance to hear from the defending champion Simon Lizotte. But first, one of the pursuers from the chase card, Aaron Gossage, has been knocking on the door. He's right there. He's been on the lead card through the moving day rounds and the final rounds of a number of tournaments, including majors. The goose is loose. He's just one stroke back, and we're going to see him off the tee when the chase card tees here in just a few minutes. Brian, do you think he can stay where he is or even move up?
Absolutely. He just came off a win in Colorado, which, again, anytime you win an A tier anywhere, even if it's not on the Disc Golf Pro Tour these days, it's impressive, and it's a huge confidence boost if you let it be that confidence boost for you. Aaron's coming back here. He knows this course well. He seems to always pop off and get on camera here. He's got huge distance with the backhand. His sidearm is elite. He threw a 430-foot laser beam hyzer sidearm on 9 yesterday from a very unfavorable position, and he slipped. He just has so much physical ability, and if he can just clean up the short putting, he's going to be right up there with the leaders. And I think that's kind of always been his thing. When his putt is on, he is one of the best players in the world, and I guess you could say that about a lot of competitors out here, but his
Aaron Gossage, when he walked off the course yesterday and left Swenson Park, he left in a tie for 5th. Tied for 33rd was the defending champion, Simon Lizotte. He knows how to play this course. He said he felt like he was close. He felt like his score didn't give a proper indication of just how well he thought he played yesterday. Felt like he got a few bad breaks. Felt like in other cases he was just inches off. But let's hear about it a little bit more in Simon's own words.
I went into the round feeling so happy and like I had a great mindset, and I knew like nothing was going to bother me. But then these like little things kept adding up until hole 17. And I was just like, screw this, man. Sometimes it just, you got to let something out. I was throwing really well, and you know, disc golf is it's a game about feelings. Like, even if you miss a putt sometimes, but it feels good, it can still help you for the next putt or the next round, whatever. And even the putts I missed on the front 9, I felt like, man, those were good putts. I was happy with them, even though they didn't go in. So I was just like trying to build on that feeling of still feeling good, but not scoring. But yeah, I just couldn't. Sometimes you just can't turn it around. I mean, I tried everything. I thought I had the right attitude today, but 17 hurt. We'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Maybe better luck.
Well, Brian, Simon starts the day 7 back of the leader. There are other big names about as far deep in the field. I've got to ask you a question here, and that is, what do you think is the lowest? I'm not talking about a record-setting kind of round like an 18 under par, but I'm talking about a reasonable goal. What is a really incredible round that you think is available if a player can get on a hot streak, much like Paige Pierce did this morning?
Yeah, I think we talked about it when we were talking about Isaac Robinson. He shot a 10 down, but he missed 3 25-footers. So I think 13 is a very reasonable, realistic hot round to expect from somebody if they're playing really, really well. There were a lot of players, like we talked about, that went OB free yesterday. So you can escape the course unscathed. It's whether or not you can get yourself in good position to throw the second shots on some of these protected par fours. And you can manage the options that Leonard Muse has laid out for the MPO field. I think I watched a lot of players get in positions where it looked like a comfortable lie, but the shot required was a little uncomfortable for the players. So we'll just have to see. But if I had to guess, I'd say 13 is a pretty good number.
Well, players know that closing trio of holes is very, very difficult. So I think players going out on the course looking to get off to a relatively hot start. And we see here a number of players are doing just that. Parker Welk moving way up the leaderboard was over par yesterday. He's 10 under on the round through 17, has moved himself under par for the championship. Tristan Tanner is 8 down through 14. Kevin Jones, a slow start yesterday. He's 7 down through 15. And a number of other players making their presence known. AJ Carey, one of those who has now played his way into the top 10 for the moment. But we've got a lot more action from several cards yet to get on the course. Brian, right now, what are conditions? Are they hot and sticky? Is there a little bit of air moving, keeping things comfortable? What are players going to face this afternoon?
Hot and sticky is about right. We are creeping up into the 90s right now, and it's hot enough to where your hands just get sweaty standing around. Grip management is something that players are going to focus on every hole. Sometimes if you dry off too much, your hands get sticky. The grip or the disc kind of gets too cleaned off. There's no oils to kind of give you that clean release. Sometimes the disc can stick to your hand. So it's one of those frustrating days of disc golf where it almost feels like a beautiful day, but you really have to put some intention behind every shot. You sometimes you overlook grip when the weather is beautiful like this. But today, I think it's really going to be a factor. Gannon even yesterday said he's going to be using his chalk bag even more than normal, which for his card mates, I'm not sure if they're ready to breathe that impure air, really.
Well, speaking of all these steamy conditions, makes me need to go and refresh my iced tea, and I'm sure some of our viewers need to as well. So we'll take one more break before we wrap things up on this episode of Tournament Central and turn things over to the players themselves as they take on the challenge of Swenson Park. Back right after this on the Disc Golf Network.
Join the Paul Macbeth Foundation's Builders Club to help bring sustainable disc golf experiences to people and communities around the world. For a small monthly donation, you can help us make a real impact. Your donation will go directly to making a difference. By becoming a monthly subscriber, you'll also receive exclusive updates on our work, special offers, and discounts. So join us today and make a difference with the Paul Macbeth Foundation. Together we can make a big impact, one small donation at a time.
Well, Brian, as we wrap things up on this edition of Tournament Central, I'm curious if there are any players deep in the field that you expect to see make a little bit of noise before the day is out.
Many players, Grant. Again, look at this season. Look at how many players have had those late charges. We have more players than ever before that have come in contention to win tournaments. They're hungry. They want that feeling again. And once you put yourself in that position, being able to shoot well hot in the beginning and then carry that through the end of the round actually improves because you're no longer afraid of closing. You know that you're able to do that. So I can't even give you specific names because there's so many players that shot subpar yesterday, and not, no pun intended there, players that didn't shoot well yesterday and want to go even farther under par today. So I can't really say that, but today I'm really excited to watch the dynamic of Isaac and Gannon and Cole on the lead card. I'm excited to see these players that we're likely to see for years to come, potentially decades to come, if they keep the careers going. I'm excited to see these young players duke it out in round 2.
At what point, if any, Brian, do you think that the camaraderie quiets a bit? Not that it gets rude or contentious, but at what point do you think the camaraderie quiets down just a little bit and the gentlemen get focused on the task at hand?
It really depends. I mean, certain players, when they're shooting well, they get chatty, and it kind of raises the spirits of everybody else in the card. I think Paul McBeth is a classic example of someone who, when they get chatty on the card, everyone kind of thinks they're shooting average, but they're actually shooting spectacular. And I could see all three of those guys, including Chandler Kramer on the lead card, all kind of having a great day, trying not to even think about the moment, which is kind of becoming a theme with these young players. And they're going to shoot hot. I mean, we'll see. If someone starts shooting bad and they start throwing some fits, some outbursts, we might see that. But I think today's going to be a pretty laid-back, enjoyable day to watch for the fans.
And speaking of those fans, how is the gallery looking there at Swenson Park?
I believe I was told the number was 1,300, Grant. So we have big gallery coming to follow this weekend, and they always do here at Swenson Park. And if you ever are in the area and want to come spectate here at the OTB Open, there is so much for you to do here. There are so many cool vendors, some new technology in the disc golf world that's being showcased on the market for the very first time. It's a really, really exciting place to be, whether you're a player or you're a spectator here at this tournament.
Well, Brian, you've got some work to do when you head out onto the course as the on-course reporter for the Disc Golf Network's live broadcast, which is beginning just over 2 minutes from now. And that's our cue to get out of here on Tournament Central. We'll be right back here on the Disc Golf Network when the round ends. Don't go anywhere. Live action with the chase card. Moments away from Stockton, California. It's the OTB Open. Grant Zellner for Brian Earhart saying see you later.
Take care.